millions of people heeding these warnings. Here comes Irene, and starting to board up and get out. But many others are not. They are gambling with Mother Nature, and that is a risky venture. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett tonight in the newsroom with how some Americans are preparing or not. NJ?
Bill, some evacuations on the Outer Banks, but most residents seem willing to wait and watch. As Lee points out, this is a storm with a lot of moving parts, and predicting where she makes landfall will be a challenge.
From the Outer Banks of North Carolina to the shores of southern New England, no one could afford to ignore the enormous storm churning in the Atlantic Ocean.
Heed all the warnings. If you're in a hurricane-prone area and you've been through a hurricane before, then you know what to expect. If you're new, find your neighbors who've been through it before.
We'll just keep out watching to make sure that everybody's safe, and we'll make decisions about what we're going to do about continuing to stay.
The hurricane has already battered Turks and Caicos, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Irene's fierce winds and heavy rains are now bearing down on the Bahamas, and she could soon strengthen to a Category 4 storm.
We had planned to have an entire week of relaxation, and we got here and spent 2 days and have turned right back around.
Predicting where Irene makes landfall in the U.S. is still difficult, if not impossible, as the storm gathers strength over the warm ocean waters while being deflected by winds in the upper atmosphere. Emergency management officials up and down the Atlantic are left with little choice but to prepare for the full force of a major hurricane, despite the odds.
We know this hurricane's coming our way. We just don't know where it's going to hit or how bad it can get.
Everybody in North Carolina needs to prepare for this storm.
And that's the point. The governor of North Carolina urging residents and tourists in her state to be prepared for the hurricane, but not to panic over it. Good advice tonight for anybody in the path of this major storm. Sade, Bill?